What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. So yesterday I did a video on glycogen replenishment post-workout, right? How it's not necessary for bodybuilders because we don't burn enough carbohydrate. But I will get into why I think that started, why pro bodybuilders use it, and it has to do with illicit drug use. A legal drug, though. Insulin is legal in the U.S. to purchase. You go walk up to the Meijer, Target, or Walmart pharmacy right now and purchase yourself a bottle of Insulin R. Just like that. Just say, hey, I want some Insulin R. Boom, you got it. Now, here's where I think we've kind of disconnected ourselves with reality. A lot of the need for the post-workout shake in the professional bodybuilding community is due to their use of insulin. Now with insulin, when you take it, especially let's say you're taking a long-acting insulin like Insulin R. Insulin R, I believe it's 45 minutes. And then it spikes again 2 hours later. It spikes at like 45 minutes, then it spikes in 2 hours, then it spikes again 2 hours later. So it's like at a 2 hour interval, and it's like 4 hours before it's out of your system. There you can't go to sleep, you can't do a lot of things. You gotta keep your carbohydrate intake up. What they recommend is once you have your shot, you have an immediate shake, a post-workout shake. And then 2 hours later, you have a carb-containing meal with protein, and then 2 hours after that you have another meal. So you're eating every 2 hours effectively with a post-workout shake. Usually people use dextrose. They've recently started using Vitargo, Carbolic, all those things. Now what that does is insulin is the most anabolic hormone, more anabolic than testosterone. It shuttles it into your muscles. So when you're injecting insulin, your insulin goes boom, and then you got to get the carbohydrate in, well, to prevent from dying. You go hypoglycemic, you can really die. That's why I'm not a big proponent of insulin use. Obviously that it's used. It's not something I'm too huge on as far as when clients want to use it and this and that, because it's the one thing, if you fuck up once, you fucked up. Now I know a lot of people are going to chime in here saying it's safe if you know what you're doing. There's the key. If you know what you're doing, it's all about responsible use. And there's no responsible use. I wouldn't trust anyone with responsible use at this point in my career. I've seen too much shit go wrong with legal supplements to expect responsible use from illegal supplements that can literally, illegal drugs that can literally kill you. Now, insulin, when used diligently, smartly, and you have the proper tools in hand, like carbohydrate if you start to go hypoglycemic, then it is relatively safe. But what I think happened is people saw like, okay, you know, bodybuilder X. Okay, I remember going to remember I was at an expo once. A kid asked, well, such and such eats 1,500 grams of carbs a day when he's dieting. I think it was like 1,000 grams of carbs a day when he's dieting. And I'm like, well, yeah, he would fucking die if he didn't. I mean, the amount of insulin these pros take is quite high. I know a lot of recreational lifters start at 10 IU post-workout, a little bit less than that. I know of bodybuilders personally doing insulin with every single meal, plus a big wallop post-workout. I know a lot of the guru trainers, I know one of them, who you guys would know if I named his name, recommends 10 IU in the morning and 10 IU post-workout, which is actually not that crazy. But I've seen bodybuilders take 4 IUs per meal, plus 10 IUs post-workout. And just for those of you who don't know what the hell insulin is, an IU is an international unit, that's how you measure it, and all of the insulin syringes you see are measured out for the dosing of actual insulin. So what happened is, obviously I do think there is a good reason why, you know, bodybuilders shouldn't go out saying I take insulin, I take this, I take that. The legality issues are one of them. Another one is we don't want kids thinking that's the only way. To get the size of Jay Cutler or Branch Warren, I don't even think they need insulin, to be honest with you. In fact, there's a lot of top pros that you wouldn't guess. I know they don't do insulin. And they're top level, top 5 pros. They don't need it. They just use the standard bodybuilding fare of androgens and GH. And maybe some peptides. I don't know. I didn't get that into it. But at the end of the day, I know a lot of guys who don't even use insulin. What happens is you see this guy, and he's like, well, I'm taking 100 grams of dextrose or Vitargo or whatever, and 50 grams of protein post-workout. And you see the big guy doing it, so you start doing it. And it just kind of spread like that. And I think a lot of people just got into the whole, well, if this guy takes it, I should take it. That they really, you know, misunderstood that, first of all, even let's take insulin out of the picture. Obviously, someone like myself, even myself, I'm not going to put myself up with the big guys because I'm a bitch. Jay Cutler, Branch Warren, Johnny Jackson, you know, all those guys, Ronnie Coleman in his heyday, they're so fucking big. They burn so many more calories and carbohydrates than you during training, and they need so much more calories and carbohydrates that a post-workout shake for them, Honestly, if they had 75, let's say they had 100 grams of carbs, that's 400 calories, 50 grams of protein, that's 600 total calories. It's nothing in their daily intake. But if you, who has a 2,400 calorie limit to how much you can eat, takes even 300 to 400 calories, that's a big percentage of your daily calories that I would rather see focused more towards micronutrient dense foods like sweet potato, apples, bananas, shit like that. Fuck, even have a Pop-Tart. There's micronutrients they put into Pop-Tarts in an artificial manner. Who cares, right? So the bottom line is it's all healthier per se, in the long term, more satiating than dextrose and whey post-workout. As I've stated before, I'm not an insulin user. I'm scared. I'll be honest with you. Would I use it if I wasn't scared? Maybe. But at the end of the day, it's just not my cup of tea. And it's just not worth it. I think once you start messing with your life, like there's tons of research on androgens and HRT and actually improving health profiles. Tons of research on the anti-aging benefits on GH and what it does. Shit, look at Sylvester Stallone, right? Insulin, unless you have diabetes, I really don't see much positive research for its use. So it's really hard for me to justify that, or with my clients, unless you're going for that fucking Mr. Olympia spot. I really don't think it's something worth messing with. And also I've seen a lot of pros who don't use it, who've made tremendous gains and get great results. So on that note, that's my opinion on insulin. I think the post-workout shake is used for the most part. A lot of the reason I think people started using it because pros were using it because they had to. Because that post-workout insulin injection, I think they really needed to use it. But I'm not saying mine's the only opinion. I'm not saying I'm 100% right, but that's my hypothesis on the matter. It's been brought up before online, and I do think there's some validity to it. So unless you're injecting insulin, I really don't see a need. Or if you're like me, a hard gainer, I'll tell you what, I had a post-workout shake day of MTS whey and carbolic. And 30 minutes later, I was so ravenous, so hungry, that I literally tore into some friggin' what I eat. I ate chicken and sweet potatoes. I was just so hungry because it spiked that insulin. Not to the point where an injection would, but it did have that effect. So it is what it is. Take it for what it's worth. That's as close as you're gonna get to a drug video from me. I'm Marc Lobliner, tigerfitness.com, because nearly dying trying to get big, that's not a game.